woman takes son's DNA test for fun, husband files for divorce next day. The family felt learning about their origins would be interesting. They intended to put every member of their family to the test, including the children. But they had no idea that this seemingly simple action led them into a maze of secrets and devastating disclosures that broke the basis of their life. Gregory Holmes and Patricia had been wed for 18 years. Greg Jr., their 17-year-old son, was the oldest of their 3 children. The real troubles began one day when Patricia and Gregory were hosting a few of their close friends. As they got to discussing about DNA and family trees, Colleen, Patricia's best friend, brought up the fact that her sister had just, on a dare, ordered a DNA kit online. The Holmes, believing it was all in good fun and excited by the prospect of finding their origins, were instructed to purchase a kit and do the test. Gregory and Patricia agreed to accept the challenge. They gathered excitedly late that evening, after everyone else had departed, and ordered the DNA kit from a reliable source. The reason Gregory appeared most delighted was that he had always been curious about his ancestry and had anticipated that this test might provide some insight. They were more and more excited to get their outfit as the days went by. Patricia first felt that taking the test was utterly ridiculous. All she knew about her family and herself, after all, it was not a secret. The day finally came for the DNA kit to be delivered to their house. Without any delay, Patricia and Gregory collected cheek samples from themselves and their kids and returned them to the testing facility. As the weeks passed, the tension increased. Patricia's thoughts strayed, wondering if she would be able to track down long-lost relatives or unearth some fascinating family history. She had no idea how much chaos and sorrow the truth buried in their DNA would cause. Everything the family had known would be destroyed by a straightforward test, and someone would have to pay the price. Patricia got an email notification from the DNA testing business one evening when the family was gathered in the living room. Expecting to learn fascinating details about her family's history, her heart raced as she opened the message. However, her face went pale and her eyes started to well up with tears as she read the results. Undoubtedly, what she had read was a grave error. She immediately followed up with an email to the firm, asking them to repeat the test using the same samples. Gregory began to feel nervous as the days passed and inquired about the status of the DNA test results and why they hadn't come in yet. He eagerly anticipated learning the results. Patricia started to suffer every day. She made an effort to hide the fact that the DNA test results were already in. She started to worry a lot about who might see the email. She eventually concluded, nevertheless, that sending the proof to her personal email would be the most effective method to keep it hidden from interested eyes. Up until the other results came in, that was the only option. Patricia struggled to process what she had saw. It said something she couldn't believe, and it would undoubtedly cause friction in her family. She wasn't prepared for this, and now she was facing a serious issue. However, at this point, her only option was to wait for the findings of the follow-up. She was hiding such a huge secret from not just her husband, Gregory, but her whole family, and she felt an unending sense of shame with every day that went by. Patricia was at a loss and unsure of how long she could continue to hide the truth from her family. She suddenly noticed a recognizable computer beep. She ran downstairs in a hurry. She prayed with her eyes closed. She had made a grave error on the first test she had taken. Her heart almost stopped beating when she opened the email and read the contents. The screen displayed the identical outcomes as previously. Patricia had gotten herself into a nightmare instead of something exhilarating. One evening, Patricia gathered her family in the living room, unable to take on the load any longer. She inhaled deeply, her hands shaking as she grasped the printed DNA test results. Gregory gave her a worried expression as he stared at her. Patricia paused for a time before eventually admitting, tears running down her face, the test results came back. Excitement and good cheer flooded the gathering, but when Gregory noticed Patricia sobbing violently, the mood immediately altered. With a swift motion, he dragged her away from the children, asking, "Hey, what's going on? You're behaving oddly." Gregory was put down after Patricia gave him a hug and said, "There's something I've been keeping from you." Patricia inhaled deeply before sharing the entire tale. "The test results claim that Greg's not your son." "That can't be true," Gregory replied, his eyes becoming so big they almost fell out of his head. "Something had to have gone horribly wrong in the lab. You need to give them a call right now." Gregory realized there was no error, though, as Patricia's tears kept falling down her cheeks. The unimaginable understanding hit in, and the room became quiet. Patricia was aware of the implication Gregory was making, but she was at a loss for words. She was expecting a child, but she was unaware of it prior to meeting Gregory. Despite her belief that Greg Jr. was Gregory's biological son, the results of the DNA test were contradictory. Gregory couldn't contain his sobs as the reality overwhelmed him like a tsunami. The family went into great distress after learning the truth. Gregory had a flurry of feelings as he struggled to accept that the boy he had nurtured and loved was not his own child. The Holmes family had to make a crucial decision in the middle of the turmoil and suffering. In order to better communicate and deal with their feelings, Gregory and Patricia attended therapy. They realized after a challenging road that they still had a great affection for one another and that their relationship was worthwhile.